Good evening, everyone. This is Crossy, and welcome to CSGO League. This is the semi-final #1 between Blackout Gaming and Appronto, and we are into the action. First round underway, and it is going to be a terrorist win coming in for Appronto, who are squaring off against Blackout Gaming, currently undefeated in the competition. For Appronto, they went through a bit of a lineup shift, and since then have been on an absolute tear, pushing them through into 4th place and getting themselves into the semi-final. It's 1st versus 4th here between them, so in theory you would expect things to be going in direction of Blackout, but we will see as time pans on. So you're on board with Eclipse Gaming TV in association with Blackout Gaming. I would have liked to be bringing this on the Blackout Gaming stream, but have been having a few technical issues with that. Seems to be working fine to mine, but not to theirs, with the exact same settings, which makes zero sense to me, but there you go. Things to deal with. But first full buy coming in. Not quite full, but 3 AKs coming in second round from Appronto, and they have put 2 on the board in very early stages. The amount of times that I've seen AK buys go in the wrong direction, it is absolutely shocking, but they get away with it this time around, which is all good. You know, it's one of those weapons where if you dump to someone early on and get picked off by a rush, for example, that weapon can give you that extra firepower to do some serious damage. Now, how often do you see, like Blackout are doing here, the push down a ramp, there's someone there with an AK that gets swarmed or gets flashed off, drops the AK, and then from that point it gives you a weapon to work with. Doesn't happen this time though. Appronto going on a bit of a tear early on. Only 2 rounds though against pistols, so nothing to be too excited about just yet. Plenty of hard work for them to do, but going to be looking to put as many rounds on the board as they can on Mirage, which is Blackout's choice of map. Bomb planted over towards the B site. 4 players in a position to make a retake if they want to go for it. Ablaze with the ump might be looking to charge straight in with a frag if he can. Chance to maybe work short. I think Blackout are just being passive on this one. Going to try and pick up an exit frag or 2, grab themselves a weapon and just try and make it as expensive as possible as they can. You see Shroomy taking a spot alongside Sloth. They're going to get the crossfire for any players pushing out kitchen, trying to save their weapons and the like when the bomb goes off. The Altalai up in the apps, last to leave the site just to make sure. And Brigalito, his weapon, oh no, he does manage to get a frag, as does Vinezo, but it is one of those AKs being dropped. Miguel couldn't get out of there quite quick enough. First buy situation then for Blackout Gaming. Appronto with a 3-0 lead going into this point, but the first real buy coming in. Now this guy you see with the AWP, I'm going to refer to him as Haidar. My Icelandic is a little bit rusty, so I'm not going to go for the full name, unfortunately. But if you hear me mentioning Haidar, then it is this guy. I'm not even going to try and attempt it. I will insult Icelandic players far and wide if I even make an attempt, I'm sure. Over towards the setup then, so we've got a couple of Blackout players over towards B, couple towards A. Fairly standard setup with the AWP player in the mid window. We will talk about that going forward. No time at all as Ablaze. He gets one. He's going to throw that smoke. Maybe not going to be enough though, and Altalai steps up and is able to pick up the frag. He does the maths, works out his Pythagoras, works out the angle where the smoke came from, and is able to pick up the frag. Eden then, team leader, picking up a frag on Altalai. That's a good trade, but 3 players now making their way up into the game ramp. That AWP is going to be difficult, and the AWP is dropped. Plant will come in unless Sloth can jump onto the box, and he does. So good control, and it is 4v16. The first buy v buy goes in favour of Blackout Gaming. Now the AWP. Key weapon on Mirage, but it's very situational, very situational, and it's much more useful, I would suggest, on the CT side. As we saw, when you've got an AWP in your hands on T side, there are things you can do with it. You can get yourself up into A apartments, work a pick onto the site potentially. You can get yourself into mid and get a pick in the mid window. That's quite a useful thing, and then you can do some damage on connector as well. But aside from that, it's very difficult to be using that weapon. We see action in the mid, so already numbers are favouring Blackout. It's 5-3, make that 5-2. Haidar going huge with the AWP in hand. And there's a couple of AKs up in the mix, so if you're Chris with the AK, you can pick up some frags. Eden gets the one, he's pushing up towards the box. I'm sure he's got some cover. They'll be looking to get this ring frag and make sure it's not too expensive, and a Blaze does pick it up. So you see, AWP in mid window, super effective when they push it. You get yourself a couple of frags. If you're on T side, pretty much the best you're going to get with your AWP straight away is that window pick. It opens you up into the mid area, but if the CTs are sensible with how they play, that's not necessarily the end of the world. You know, an AWP can't do too much damage from mid connector unless you want to go and walk into their scope. So you just got to be a little clever if you lose that mid player. Know that the control's going to be there. Know that the AWP is maybe going to be looking to make a pick from somewhere. You know, often I tend to play AWP on this map on T side. I'll get that mid window pick and then I'll drop to chair and just sit and watch for a player to come onto short and try and get the pick there. But you know, until the rest of my teammates make a play on A, there's not too much I can really do with that point other than watch short. So it does limit you a little bit. And so we'll see just how key that mid control happens to be later on. It's one of those. It depends on how you want to play it as a team on T side. You know, teams can do really good things when they've got that mid control. Some just don't bother with it. They're not going to risk it. Haidar with the AWP in hand, and this is one problem you don't have. If there's no pressure coming in from the T side into the mid, it's very easy for that player that was mid window to then drift about onto the map. Haidar can push out into jungle. It gives you an extra weapon to peek, and from the jungle area you do have that advantage with the AWP making that pick into apartments, which he has done. And Blackout Gaming looking very solid on their CT side. It's another one of those maps that can play either way. It's very much a momentum map, and if a team can get a run going, then they can really put a foot on the throat of their opponents. And you know, you see like sometimes 12-3s and that sort of scoreline, 11-4s, and it can work either way. It can be T-sided or it can play at CT-sided, and it really just comes down to how the economy works and what kind of options you've got in the locker. So that time around, no pressure in the mid, made it very easy for Haidar with the AWP in mid window to come in and bolster on the A site. You see now, Blaze, he's taken a bit of mid control, he's dropped in there and nearly actually exposed himself to a player in the lower. You know, but for the time being, they're not particularly worried about the mid. They don't need to be. And if there's no mid pressure, then the players in A just have to worry about Palace and ramp. They don't have to have any kind of concern that maybe a push is going to come from somewhere else, and they can hold the angle exactly how they want to. As you see, Slot, he gets one. Eden boosting up onto the short area. Maybe a little exposed there, and Vinzo, he's got one frag, makes that two, spins into jungle and does pick up the frag. So going to be Appronto looking to push the lead here. Lost 3 on the spin, going to try and bring advantage back in their favour. They've got a 4-1 situation as well. Shroomy going to be going for the save almost definitely here, I would suggest. Also, once more, I'd like to say thank you very much, sorry, for joining us tonight. This is Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV in association with Blackout Gaming.
Terrorists win.
I will admit I'm slightly biased. I've been a part of the Blackout community for a fair while now. It's probably getting on for 6 months or so. I've lost track of time, but it's been good to get involved and commentate some of the official games of the team and some of the community action that takes place as well. Blackout going to be taking nigh on 50 people, probably will be over 50 people to the Multiplay I-Series event in the UK coming up in March, I think that is, as PTK opens his account in this round, taking down Sloth, and it's numbers favouring Appronto as they make their way into the site. Vinzo getting the plant. Now It's going to be a chance for them to try and hold off as best they can. They've got a nice split as Miguelito, he gets involved, takes down a Blaze. Haidar able to get one with the AWP, but he's traded straight out. So they are doing some good work, and down he goes. Around about the site, that AWP is going to get recovered if they want it. Seems like they decided that they didn't. And Appronto are starting to push the lead just a little bit. Seems like A is an area that they can get into, but it is by no means set in stone. Eden going for a mid push. And they're all going for a mid push, so it is an eco. Deciding they don't want to push through that fire. Quite wise to think as Haidar catches a Kobe. I think they will need to start looking Blackout and making sure they don't lose players cheaply. A couple of rounds where someone's got caught out position. It's Eden up on shore as Blaze. Nice work with the one dig, and I think it might have been Sloth in the round after that, getting picked off a little bit too early, and you need to just be passive and make sure that you've got those numbers ready to receive when the push does come onto the A site, which I think is going to be Appronto's main attack so far. It's going quite well for them. See now stacking up towards the B. Huge gun advantage. Blackout not able to retrieve anything yet. Eden now with the AK up and short as I say that. Appronto not giving enough away at this point, so Blackout not too sure where it's going to be coming from. That utility flying into the site will be a pretty good clue of things to come. And the AK is doing some good damage. It's splash damage. No frags just yet, but it's enough for Sloth to pick up one. And he'll be calling the information as Vinzo, sorry, with the AWP does get one. So he's up in the apartment still, actually, and that's a good position to be in. So nice work. He's hung back, and it is going to be another round for Appronto, you would suggest. 1v3 Sitch. Blaze already got one tidy little one dig in this round. He's going for his second.
Bomb has been planted.
Just waiting patiently, holding a keen angle. It's one of those positions where if the Appronto players lose their weapon from him holding an angle like this, it's bit of a rage-tastic voyage. It seems like something that Backrow would do. Inside joke for any Blackout gamers watching this as Symphony picks up that final frag on a Blaze. No more one digs for him. And it is going to be 6-3. Back on the bye then. Let's go have a look at what Vinzo's doing. Actually, the AWP has switched back into the hands of Symphony. So let's see, just quickly, what he's doing with his weapon. How he's trying to be incisive early on the T side. So you see straight away, he's not gone for that mid pick. Not even tempted to go for the mid pick. Instead, he's watching underneath. Maybe a little bit concerned because a few players from Blackout have dropped into the mid as Eden with the opening frag on PTK and a second on Miguelito. So let's get on board then. Eden playing pushed up on the short area. Quite well. He's got a player at chair as well. That's Vinzo, who he does pick up. So Eden putting in a captain's innings for his team here with 3 frags in the mid area. Symphony's going to get the AWP. Plus the bomb in hand, make his way over towards A to assist his teammate. He's doing. He's in a bit of a battle over towards Travelator. Walks straight into Haidar, who's got the AWP in hand over towards Ticket Booth. Symphony almost definitely going to be thinking save now. He's got plenty of time if he wants to go for this, but I don't think there's any real gain for them to be doing so. As we see, he is caught. And yeah, I would have been inclined to go for the save. 6-4. It's by no means a strong position to be in on the T side. They want to be looking for something like 9-10 rounds from this position that they've got themselves into. Financially, they're okay. They've got a full buy, and they've got 1 or 2 players who might be able to sneak a drop next time around. So they can keep on buying, but if they're not careful, it could go to 6-all. And for them to be pushed on an eco, and it's a chance for Blackout to turn the screw and pick up a CT side half win. Good spot to be in. In paper, if you win on CT side, you're doing very well on Mirage. I think it actually plays a little more evenly than that as the push does come into B. They've got in here fairly easily last time as well, but they were up against pistols, so can't read too much into that at this point. Symphony, he's waiting up in the apartments, and they're all pretty much stacking up towards the apartments area, I think. Miguelito, he's trying to get Appro on short. Knows there's 2 players there, gets the one before he's traded out straight away by Eden. Nice work, but it's 2v2, and Sloth with the AWP in hand needs to try and get into the site. He's clear in the back, doing what he can. They need some information. They need to know that both the players are in apartments. PTK, he's down to super low, and Sloth with the collat, with the Molotov and the AWP. That's all she wrote, and that's going to be around on the board for Blackout Gaming. Real stalemate going on there. And it could have actually gone... Oh, what's that? What's that? I'm having an absolute mess. Sorry, guys. So, this could have gone either way. So... Appronto were maybe a little too slow getting out of apps. So 2 players stuck up in here straight away. And it was Miguelito in it that dropped out. And he got the 1 but couldn't get the 2nd. So nice work from Blackout. They needed to make that refrag, and the amount of times you see that happen, or not happen I should say, you know, it's very, very surprising and frustrating when your teammates aren't on the same page and just trading out with you. But they're able to do that. And from that point, the 2 players trapped in at the apps, it was too much for them. So it could have been that if they got one of those other players out of the apps into bench and just created another angle, maybe they would have given Sloth some trouble, who had to push in with the AWP. Wouldn't have been favoured in close quarters situations there. And maybe they would have been able to pick up around there. Haidar with the frag taking down Vinzo. Player over towards Firebox. That's going to be a difficult one. Sloth, he's seen a man. Can he get the frag though? PTK, he's close. And Sloth misses the close action. Grabs himself an AWP, which is going to be useful for trying to hold off these remaining 2 players. Shroomy taken down, as is Haidar, who was on super low HP. And that is going to be 7-5. Little bit of a mini reset. See, the Blackout cache isn't where it needs to be. Probably just going to go for a save and make sure they can buy into the next 2 rounds. From a Blackout point of view, not a disaster here. You know, 10-5, 5 rounds on CT. In theory, isn't a bad position to be in, but they'll want to be trying to get as close as they can. They've still got the chance of even winning out 8-7 as Ablaze grabs himself an AK. Good push up from the mid area. And last time we're in this situation, Appronto did pick up the round against the pistol eco, but they made it a little closer than we thought it was going to be. So at least Symphony, oh, he's dinked in the face. Taking down the 26 points of health as the A plant comes in. So Blackout making their way in. Vinzo gets in from behind, takes Sloth and Ablaze, both trying to walk through and use the smoke to their advantage, but didn't cover behind really. And I think actually maybe could have used Haidar pushing into the window, having a little peek out, might have been able to save their lives there. But down he goes. It is 8-5. Pause is called. Not sure if this is tactical or technical. We're going to take 30 seconds and then we will be straight back into the action. Again, you're on board with Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV. Shout out to Blackout Gaming. Hopefully you guys are watching the game and enjoying this one. While I am slightly biased as being a member of the Blackout community for some time, I'm looking forward to some good quality action here tonight. Blackout, the undefeated lineup in this competition so far against 4th place, but Appronto were on a tear. Didn't start all that well in the competition. Went for a lineup change, which as a long-standing member of the UK CS community, not something that I always stand by, but it seems to have worked well for them. They've been on a charge, pushed themselves into fourth, got themselves narrowly into this semi-final. And I think they could give Blackout a run for their money. Already going pretty well here, 8-5 on T-side on Mirage. I think at this stage, if they win out the next 2 rounds, that's going to be what you would expect. T-side on Mirage. If Blackout can pick up another round or 2 out of them here, then they will be feeling like they're in the driving seat, especially on their map choice. And Altalai, he was second to the punch against Eden there underneath, but he comes out on top, taking down to 14 points of health, and that could have turned the tide. Shrinking, he goes on the push. He's going to get refragged. Had 2 players looking in his direction, actually, and good teamwork from the Appronto side. You may perhaps ask, why didn't the support come a little quicker? But it doesn't really matter. If you get the refrag and the trade, it's all good. Haidar, he pushes out, didn't know about the player getting onto the bench. I was on board him, and it is very easy to see players skim past you at that point. But you have to be wary of it, and maybe he should have been a little slower, waited for his teammates to come in and help out. And now they're going in one at a time. They're going to get picked off one at a time, and as you'd expect, this is going to go down to 9-5 in favour of Appronto. So last round, first half, first map. Best of 3, Nuke is the decider, and I believe, and I will check this one before we take a break for map 2, I believe map 2 is going to be Cash, which was Appronto's choice. And Blaze goes for the push. He gets taken in the face, I think that was, but the aim punch, that's been changed in a recent patch, didn't affect him quite so much, and he was able to pick up the frags. So nice work early on. Sloth with the ump in hand, able to take that PTK. Symphony, though, he catches Eden, who he's getting aggressive top of mid, Eden, and roundabout short, but I think he's been caught a little bit unawares more than once in that position, and it's costly for you. If you're going to lose a player, you'd rather lose a player on T side than you would on CT. If you lose a CT player, you've got to try and rotate someone off to fill the gap, or just leave a site without the required number of people there to cover all the angles, and that's a little disappointing. If you lose a player on T side, even if you're 4v5 in the map, you've probably got more players entering a site than there is holding it. If you all push together, that is, but in theory, the maths works in your favour to lose a player on T side rather than CT, and I would maybe be looking towards these Blackout guys to just think about that a little bit. Haidar got caught out, Eden's got caught out 2, maybe 3 times, I think, with the same thing. 1v1 Sitch, Sloth looking for the 4K. Like he deserves a bit of reverb. Oh no. Oh no. Nice work from Symphony, though, with the AWP, and his score must be pretty impressive, actually. So Symphony 10-9, so pretty much even KDR for him, actually. Vinezo's been the standout man, and it hasn't really been entry frags. He's more been the lurk player that's popped in from behind or just caught people unawares, and in doing so, he's picked up frags in bunches, 2 here, 3 there, and it's been a very strong performance from him. So good halves exchanged. Team switch in 1 minute and 15. Interesting little config. Just got confirmation in the chat that Cash is the next map. Thank you very much for that, Ryan. So the 2-minute break between halves is for players to go to the toilet. Okay. I'll tell you what, if a player can leave his desk, get to the bathroom, pee, and get back to his chair in 2 minutes, ready to go again for the second half of a semi-final of a competition, well, they deserve to win. Let's just put it that way, but appreciate the sentiment at least. And we are going to be underway again for second half of map number 1. We are definitely going to see Cash. We may well see Nuke as well if this thing goes the distance. First versus fourth, Blackout Gaming versus Appronto. Let's go second half. Three players stack over towards B then early on. Got Eden up on the A ramp trying to do some damage, make some noise, but if anything, I think he's just throwing a fake for some kind of B play. Blackout not committing too much too early. Don't blame him for that. So the age-old mix tactic of rush A or rush B. Works well in pick-up group type things. Not so much in an organised setup as we see the wall of smokes coming in. PTK spamming through, but he does get one frag out of that. I think takes a blaze down to half as well.
Bomb has been planted.
We've got two-man crossfire. A blaze needs to refrag. Come on. This is something that Appronto were doing so well in the first half. Eden comes in to try and do the same thing, and they do pick up that frag, but maybe needs to be just a little quicker on that going forward. I say something that got Appronto into this winning position. And Eden drops away. Trying to play for a little bit of time. He gets pushed straight away and gets the one frag. Can he get the second? Yes, he can. Eden leading from the front with a 3K. And Blackout win the first round on T side. So, similar kind of start to how Appronto kicked things off. Won the first. You've got the weapons, so you should pick up the second, and then you should, in theory, pick up the third as well. Three players looking towards mid, and Miguelito just spamming through the smoke. Something that I've learned in the last, probably the last 3 or 4 months or something, is just how useful that can be. I'll elaborate on that a little bit once we get this action in mid out the way, because this could be quite crucial to how this round plays out. Haidar pushing up the ramp. He's got support with him as well. Shroomy with one. Haidar picks up the frag on PTK. Underneath wood, Vinzo leading the top of the charts for his team. Gets the 1D from the mid window, but 4v2 advantage in favour of Blackout Gaming. Plant comes down. Symphony from behind. Shroomy super low HP. He's caught, but he'll be calling in that information. Eden looking in that direction. Going to try and ride out the flashes, etc. Steps out and picks up that frag on Symphony. 1v3 Sitch. What's Vinzo got? I think he's pushing for 20 bomb if he hasn't got it already, and he potentially can now. And the 3 Blackout players going to be sitting in. He says, as Haidar, cheeky, goes for a little spam. And they are hunting him. There's one. Eden trades. Again, good refrag. Nice work. Solid stuff from Blackout Gaming. So 10-7. But yeah. Brief 2-minute, if that, story, probably more like 30 seconds. Since November 2015, I got some feedback that my commentating wasn't as insightful as it needed to be, and started a journey of playing more Counter-Strike. And what actually happened is I enjoyed playing Counter-Strike so much that I kind of gave up on the commentating thing, or I didn't put anywhere near as much time into it, which wasn't exactly the plan. But what I found from it is that I'm learning so much more about the game, and started playing Counter-Strike in 2005. I'm probably playing the best CS I've played in 5, 6, 7 years at the moment. And one of the things that I've learned is that spamming through smoke is such a useful thing. I can't remember who it was now. Miguelito, I think, picked up a frag or two just spamming through smoke, you know, expecting that players are going to be coming from there. And if you're faced with a wall of smoke, you're in jungle, you're defending against an A push, you don't know what's going to be happening. Like, there's nothing you could do at that point unless you want to push through smoke, which is risky as hell. But if you spam through it, you might do enough splash damage that someone could catch a nade or a teammate could back you up, or you might get a crisp headshot and pick up a frag or two. And from that smoke, which is supposed to stop you from doing anything, and trust me, it does, you know, you could turn that into a situation where you've got a numbers advantage to try and retake a site. Vinezo with a frag on Sloth. Haidar already gone down as well. Eden with the AWP. He's got one player looking towards short now, expecting that's where a push is going to come from. Vinezo is there. He's got a 2K already. And again, a little experience that I'll maybe share with you, because we didn't pick up on the action, but I know exactly where Vinezo got those frags from, so I will outline that for you very shortly at the end of this round. Could end up being key. Numbers advantage in favour of Appronto. 30 seconds left to go on the clock. 4v3. Eden a little limited what he can do with her AWP unless he can get into the right angle. So smoke comes in, wall of smoke. Going to try and block off the jungle area as they try and make their way out into the site. And they are. Eden needs to pick up the frag, needs to get that refrag over towards the steps, and they do. Plant does come in with 10 seconds left to go on the clock. 2 versus 3. Eden's got a great weapon for picking players that go towards ticket booth, but that is about the only option that he's got. The rest is going to be down to Shroomy, and they try and drop away Eden. He is revealing himself, and that's a little risky. Shroomy doing what he can. Eden trying to peek and does get one before. Oh, nice work. Shroomy with the fire onto the site. Eden steps out and gets the second player. Oh, that was a huge hold. That was a huge hold. I was worried. Really concerned actually with how that was playing out, but they have managed to make it happen. Blackout Gaming, and nice stuff. They were caught out as we had Vinezo. He's playing short, and what teams tend to do at the moment is maybe not worry so much about the mid window, but actually put a player out in short and have them deal with the mid area. These guys here are at the top. They're going to be looking towards mid window. They're expecting an AWP in there. So if you come out from this position, it gives you that extra little angle, and it might be, if you're stepping out expecting someone at the top, get the frag against the guy at the top. He's looking at window, he's not looking in your direction, so his line of sight doesn't necessarily bring you to that short area until it's too late. And at that kind of distance, all right, granted, my aim probably isn't as good as the guys in this server, but that is a tough shot to make, to flick, and to find the face when you're already up against it, and you wouldn't need a headshot if someone's got that advantage on you. Blackout Gaming, though, they have done 2 better than the Appronto were able to do on their T side. They've got 5 straight rounds. Things moving in their direction. And this, I think we're going to start seeing it. You've got the double AWP setup coming in from the CTs, but they are all on $50, 0 money. They've got very little to play with, and this is where the economic pressure comes from. They can't keep buying into this. They will have to eco, and when it's 10-10, and so finally in the balance, 16 gets the win, brings you on to the next map. You can't afford to keep dropping rounds, going for the eco. Blackout are in a power position. We've talked about the AWPs. 1 AWP CT side makes a lot of sense. 2 AWP CT side, it doesn't give you that adaptability. It's not easy to shift one of those AWPs into one of the other sites as comfortably as you would like. Vinezo, sorry, I keep getting his name wrong. With the AWP in hand, looking towards the palace. He's got one. Haidar trades out. So it's double AWP and 2 AKs. Vinezo, he's going to try and step in. A Blaze takes him down, though. And again, it's difficult. Where do you go with the AWP? Where can it be most useful? How do you deal with the limitation that it has, i.e. your complete lack of mobility? Miguelito sitting with the smoke for cover. 10 HP, so he's going to have to catch these guys unaware. He has no choice. A Blaze steps around. Lazy check from a Blaze, and Miguelito, he's picked up 2 frags from that. Not good enough, unfortunately, from a Blaze. I've got to call him out for that because that was very disappointing. A 10 HP player that was flashed should not be able to pick up a frag like that. And instead it means that the round is going to go in favor of Appronto. We were talking about that economic pressure. Appronto have just opened the release valve a little bit. By no means is it comfortable. You look at the cash they're on, they do have to rebuy. If they get reset here, then that loss bonus that they're building up for 5 rounds, that's gone. They're starting afresh. Blackout can still go on the buy. But what would have been better if Blackout had picked up the round, taken it to 11-10, and the CTs were in this position that they're in financially with Famas's limited utility, no head armor, etc. Head armor, not a big issue on CT side. Against AKs, it's one-shot headshot anyway. You can save that 250 or 300 bucks or whatever it is. But, you know, against the AWP of Eden, hey, maybe. Actually, no, scratch that. All headshots going to kill you with a helmet anyway. What am I thinking? Shroomy with the opening frag. Nice work as they get into sight. Shroomy tries to get the frag onto the site as well, but it's Sloth who's able to pick that one up. 4v3 in favour of Blackout Gaming. They are going to be screwed financially, Appronto, if they don't pick up this round. They are screwed financially in terms of rebuying the weapons that they drop, so even if they do get it, if only one player escapes with a weapon, again, not too comfortable for them. The Miguelito, he's pushing down towards the A ramp. And again, I'll show you this now, because I think we know which way this round's going to go. If you are round about here, and you've got a player peeking up his head from the connector area, I mean, it's headshot only, so if you get any bullet on him, you're probably going to kill him. But you can see from there how little angle you've actually got to aim for, and especially if you've got a player strafing across that, super, super difficult. So, you know, players in connector can use that to their advantage and pick up a frag or two for making their entries into the site. It's a very, very difficult position, which is why you would almost love to have a smoke left at that point when you're trying to hold to the site that you can throw in connector and force that player to come in at you or to come in through jungle or something. You don't want to have to try and make that shot. Haidar with the opening pick on Symphony out towards the mid window. Action in connector. See Eden with the AWP. We talked about this as well. He's limited in what he can do in that mid area. Now the pick's already been made in mid window. So he can hang back towards chair, look towards short. He can hang back at the top and hope that someone else steps into the window. Moves into connector there actually and tries to make a frag from there. But if there's a player close connector and you're walking that angle with the AWP, there is, well, it's very difficult for you to flick up and get that frag on that player. So a difficult little situation to be in. But I think Blackout just going to bide their time. Only got that one pick so far. They don't quite know what weapons they're going to be up against, as well as PTK with the AWP. Flicks up to Eden. Nice shot. He had the advantage there. He would have seen Eden before he had the chance to get himself set and to make the frag and to peek. So I'm not surprised that that panned out the way it did. But, you know, again, difficult shot to play or to make up onto short. And again, I might fly over there and show you really quickly at the end of this round. There's a Blackout player getting in from behind, I think. Let's get on board with Sloth. I think he may well be seeing a player very, very soon. And does his Vinzo looking to add to his already impressive tally of frags and chance for him to go in and upgrade his weapon potentially. I think everyone's just going to let this one go. So let's again fly over to this spot where PTK was. So from here, ooh, nice work from Haidar, out picking the AWP right in front of us there. But you can see players running across here from short now. To try and get someone that's moving, even though you're seeing them before they are, and they've got to get their feet set, to try and scope up and flick to where they are, again, it can be done, and there's a reason that these guys are in the semi-final. But, you know, it's tough. I've seen those missed. I've missed countless number of those. Appronto, PTK, just shows himself there. Catches a bit of splash damage from a nade, taking him down. One, and Eden with the no-scope, he's got one. Eden going huge with two. I think he knows he's got PTK, going to be trying to come in from behind. Oh, this is horrible. It's like lion stalking that prey. You know that coming. Eden going for a second no-scope of the round. It does not come off for him, but he's done the work. He's brought numbers in their favour. Difficult for Slotho. He's got players coming in from two angles, and that AWP actually gives him the advantage. PTK fires into jungle. Cursory shot, but that was agonisingly close to actually picking up. Maybe not a frag from the angle he was going for. It probably would have been a leg shot. A blaze caught by Vinzo from behind, effectively. Not looking in that direction. I think he was more worried about the mid window. No attempt at the retake coming in from Appronto, but they've done some economic damage, if nothing else. I don't think there's any real worry for these two Blackout players escaping with their weapons. No more exit frags to be talking about. And it is 13-11, so almost flawless. T-half from Blackout Gaming. 8 rounds won to just the 1 lost. Vinzo storming ahead 25-14 for his team. Altalai only 5 frags in 24 rounds Counter-Strike. It's like playing a Blackout MM game, this is. It's up to you to decide whether I'm the guy sitting on 25 frags or 5 frags at this stage. Hint is 25. Blackout with the numbers advantage. Minute and 10 left to go on the clock. Set smoke is getting ready for the push into the A site. Hydar and Eden cocking those. We see the wall of smoke. It's going to be getting set up. Put those in flawlessly. These guys decide that Counter-Strike isn't our future, then maybe the cricket team is going to be open to them with throws like that. Sloth, he gets the opening frag, and then you've seen the player Altalai at Tetris. One from behind, Symphony picks it up. Shroomy with a frag as well. That was Altalai going down at Tetris. So, Vinzo, last man standing, does get one before he is insta-traded out. Nice teamwork once again, and 14-11. So Blackout Gaming making this look quite comfortable now. Symphony with the AWP, they are going for the force. Financially crippling themselves. If they can't save some weapons, we can pretty much call this one game over for the first map. Symphony, though, he uses that AWP to great effect and brings the numbers into favour of Appronto. 5-4. Minute 30 left to go on the clock. 14-11 for Blackout Gaming. First map of this semi-final. On their map choice, though, and Appronto made it very, very difficult for them in getting 10 rounds on T-side. You would argue, though, T-sided map needed to do that, and so far only 1 solitary round picked up by the Appronto boys on their CT defense. Now, what can we pick up on? I did highlight 1 or 2 issues with refragging, but for the most part, Blackout have refragged nicely from their positions that they found themselves in. So that's worked in their favour straight off the bat. Another thing they're doing well, they're getting the wall of smokes into jungle, so the jungle players, they are pretty much ruled out the action. And point number 3, when it comes to making those difficult shots, which are, you know, pretty much around the ticket booth area and around the Travelators we saw there. They are picking those up. Sloth, he's pushing into the connector at perfect timing. In comes Vinzo. Symphony, oh, Vinzo with the 2, with the D. And they've picked that up somehow. Wow. Okay, Vinzo with the D. Let me show you this as well. I think this is turning into a pattern. But if you have a D from this angle, and you pick up 2 frags of it from players entering into the A site. I mean, we talked about difficult shots. That's the toughest one that we've looked at so far. That is ridiculous to be pulling that off. I mean, mental. Absolutely mental. And it was really good timing from Sloth making his way into connector and picking up a frag from there. But what he would have been better suited doing maybe is looking towards the short rather than pushing into the site. Get the frag onto the A site. You've got 3 players, I think it was, working that A site. So you just spin around and look towards short. Make sure no rotates come in. And that would be problem solved. So, Blackout, good, strong, but not flawless. They jump across. Symphony gets the second of the 3 players. Because of the way that he delayed that one, he will have been able to call and know how many players have got across. Different to Haidar, who flicked away from his position and didn't know about that player that got into bench. So it would have been easier for Symphony to communicate what was going on. Altalai goes in for the push and he gets one to try and boost his paltry frag numbers. And this is getting tense now, 14-13. Blackout maybe going to be thinking about an eco. And they are. They're going for Deegs, making sure they can get 1 full buyout next time around. Probably can't get an AWP. If they do, the AWPer is going to be lacking utility. So if Eden goes for it, he's maybe not going to have the smokes, etc. that he's using, and he's quite useful in throwing those into the site. He's one of the 2 players involved in the wall of smoke towards jungle that's worked quite well. I'm sure the other players in the team know how to set that, but if it's a player that would normally be looking for a frag out of Palace and they're having to switch in the ramp, then maybe it's an uncomfortable angle for them to be making those entries into the site. Economy still ever so slightly fragile for a couple of players in the Appronto side. For the 3 sitting on 3.5, they will be able to rebuy, but maybe not drop for their bank-stricken teammates as Haidar with the opening frag. Vinzo with 1, make that 2, make that 3. As Shroomy, he then steps out of Palace. He's going to get that plant in, which is good for the Blackout Gaming coffers. But 3 players going to be on rushing. I mean, this is a winnable situation if he can get out and grab one of the weapons. But I think worried about short. Spams towards short. That player's on low. He probably knows that, but just didn't quite pan out. Pause is called by Eden. 60-second pause. 14-14, and they are going to want to talk tactics. Now, something just to highlight. You probably saw it on the stream because I was on board with him, but Vinzo, he's got players rushing at him from both directions, 2 left, 1 right, and he's bursting. He's bursting for the face with his AK, and he gets 2, was it 2 or 3 frags that he managed to pick up from doing that? With players on rushing him in close quarters, he's bursting. I mean, that's the composure. After 10, 12 years of playing Counter-Strike, I would be crouching and I would be holding mouse 1 and I would be hoping to spray my way out of that situation, hopefully with a bit of support from my teammates. To be tapping for the face, you can see why he's on 30 frags. I think there's a few Appronto supporters in the stream right now, so maybe you guys could let us know if that's the normal. If Vinzo is the standout player in terms of frags, or if he's just on a tear. But He's clearly feeling it tonight. And if he can get his teammates maybe following along with that, then he could do some damage. Eden gets one, traded out instantly by Miguelito. Hopefully getting some good information for the rest of the team, though. 3v3 situation on T side. So Blackout are in the ascendancy here. These numbers do favour them. And you see just on the left, you can probably see it. The blue dots moving around, trying to figure out where this is going from. And they've actually left A. Miguelito in the window. So he's going to be going for the call. He hasn't got any utility of use. I mean, you can throw a nade in there, but unless you drop it right at someone's feet and make them sit on it, then it's not going to be hugely effective, I don't think. You would rather have a flash in hand. Just try and slow up as best he can. The two players towards B. Now, this is interesting. Why are they both sitting watching the B angle? I think PTK was going for the boost and was going to get on his bike, but what it's actually allowed is for the Blackout guys to get onto the site without any real challenge, and now the retake is going to be on. Ablaze watching from behind. It's not coming from there, my man. You'll soon find out when your teammates start to give you numbers. Vito with the opening flash. Sloth on the site. Oh, that's risky. I'm not sure I'd want to be playing from there. The firebox guy, he's going to get traded out. Ablaze peeks up at the perfect opportunity, actually. And let's see now. It's playing for him. So, oh. Appronto take a 15-14 lead. And, all right. Ablaze stepped out at the perfect time to pick up one of those frags, as otherwise Haidar at Firebox would have been in some serious trouble. And that worked quite well, but he had it planted for him. There was no need for him to sit and to try and spray down. He could just peeked out, fired off a few shots, ducked back in, played the time. Didn't see if he had any utility in his hand, but if he did, well, use that, throw it out there, and just slow up. Instead, he favoured himself to pick up the frag, which is fair enough. But against a guy that has dropped 35 frags against you, that is maybe not the best plan. And I understand as well, if a guy is on a tear, you want to try and heat check him, to use a basketball term. You do want to put pressure on him and make him having to keep making difficult frags, but not at 14-14. Come on. Come on. So Blackout then, numbers advantage 4-2 to take it into overtime for this first map. Eden, potentially in trouble. Not sure if he even saw Vinzo in the window. Seeing his move on the next side would suggest that maybe he did. Eden completely white as they make their entry. Vinzo, and he is taken down. So 15-15 it is. Good halves are exchanged. We are going to be seeing overtime. I'm assuming MR6 stay on the same side. Seems most likely. So you're on board with Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV in association with Blackout Gaming. I was hoping to stream on the Blackout stream tonight, Blackout Gaming UK. And, I've got some kind of technical issue with it. Actually, one for you guys on the stream, while we've got 45 seconds or so before things kick back off. The settings for my stream and the Blackout stream, I put them side by side and they are bang on identical. But on my stream it's fine. If I stream to the Blackout, I get 4 kilobit per second rate and then frame drops for days. And the only thing that's different is that we're using a stream key for the Blackout, and for my own account, I'm logging in with the actual Twitch credentials. I can't see why that would be a problem and why I'm suddenly not getting any kind of bandwidth to stream with, but is that potentially going to be an issue? Any advice you guys have got for me, then please let me know in the chat, and I will pick that one up at half-time and see if we can get things sorted. I may well switch over to the Blackout stream if I can get that fixed, but it's not the first time this has happened to me, unfortunately. But never mind, it looks like a few of the Blackout community have joined us tonight, which is all good stuff. I'd say follow the Blackout stream because only as of about the last week, we've got a few guys that have expressed an interest in streaming and have started to put some of the action up live. CSGO 10-mans and matchmakings, a bit from the Overwatch guys. And we're going to try and populate the schedule. More CSGO action as well. If Blackout get through to the final, then we will obviously be watching that. Bit more live action coming in from the team, as well as Altalai. He's been the quiet player on the Appronto side. He gets one before a trade comes in. Blackout on the T side, but they did pretty well all in all. Miguelito spamming through the smoke over at jungle. He loves doing that, and he's picking up frags. Sloth with the LeBron James, taking down Miguelito over towards the jungle area. Double autos from the CTs. Doesn't give them too much flexibility to try and go in and make this retake. PTK, he's going to be looking, and if these guys are sensible, they won't show. Hit, they won't show. So he gets one, and Sloth gets one as well, so that worked out all right in the end. They pick up the double AWP, and Sloth very quickly decides, no, actually, we don't need that. AWP changes hands. Gone to a Blaze, actually. Let's get on board with him. Seems like he's going to be feeling it in the mid-window, and ooh, Miguelito. I don't know how he got away with that. Jumping up left side of the window. I might have to steal that. I might have to steal that, you know, because I'm thinking, why has he done that? I guess if you jump up onto that spot, it gives you a little bit of an angle to try and get towards the top of mid, and that worked out pretty well from him. I mean, it's tight. You don't want to be trying to jump into a position into mid-window and try and make a frag against a guy that's top right, because he's probably going to beat you to it at that point, but it was so close. Eden with the AWP up in hand. See what he can do with that. Peeking into connector. They haven't dealt with the mid-window guy. Try and go for the boost. Eden does get the refrag. And he's going to bounce himself into that window. But numbers with 30 seconds left to go are favouring. No, they're not. They are not favouring Appronto anymore. It's back in favour of Blackout. 16-15. Plant in the crack. PTK, he has been spotted a firebox. Will it be too late? No, Shroomy is able to pick him up. 2v1, Symphony. Appronto team AWPer. Walk straight into the scope of Eden. 2K for him in that round. And pushing towards the top of the scoreboard. 17-15 it is. Eden doing all in all pretty well with the AWP. Maybe not a player you'd consider an out-and-out AWPer, but can certainly do a job. And I think, inversely, it's nice if you've got an AWPer that can pick up an AK and M4 and play just as well, if not better, with that as Haidar. Able to get Miguelito from the lower area. Blackout Gaming going to be looking for a clean sweep here on their T-side rounds if they can. pile all of that pressure back onto Appronto, and look at the money that they're dealing with here and the weapons. Didn't see exactly how the config went, but I'm guessing it will have been 10k start money, and they have spent all of that. Good economic damage. PTK was first to punch against the Blaze, but the CZ was no match for the AK and full armor. Symphony gets a Blaze, who was tagged down, to be fair. Shoot me with a frag. Haidar with the frag. Symphony last man standing against 4. Steps into the fire, it's like lava. And 18 to 15 it is. Blackout on their map pick. Gonna want to stop messing around here now and close this out as quick as they can. I think in overtime on Mirage, yeah, I think overtime on Mirage, what you might want to do on CT side, even though you're up against it and you've got that disadvantage, especially the position that Blackout Gaming are in, is to try and grind down the economy as much as you can. Because even if you lose the first 2, if you lose the first 2 but you take out 4 players maybe, then you might force them into a weak enough buy for that third and give you an opportunity to go and steal the thing at the death. Of course, you could just put in a solid hold. That's the easier way of doing things, but just a little backup plan and something for them to think about is just to try and work out how many frags you can get. Now, it's been a while since we saw Appronto on T side, but hopefully Blackout haven't got a short memory and will know that there isn't going to be a whole lot of mid pressure. So if you know that, you can think about, we don't need to worry as much about mid as we normally would. That AWPer that you'd normally put in mid window, Haidar, he probably will go for the AWP, but you know, he can think mainly about sitting jungle and dealing with the A push. If the news of the A push comes in, then a player over towards short can then look in and they can guard the connector area. You know, they can even push up short and face it throughout the game from that position. Maybe look towards chair and just make sure that the T's don't get too much mid control. Full utility goes in, the wall of smokes is up. Molotovs are in aplenty. They don't do too much damage to the on-rushing terrorists. That might a slough up through the ticket booth, sees above the smoke, 4 players onto Tetris and picks up 1 frag from there straight away. The bomb plant does come in, but it's 5v4 in favour of Blackout as they are in full retake mode. A lot of utility got committed. The only player that had anything worth talking about was Symphony, and down he goes. 5 versus 3 connection problem. That suggests to me that it's probably game over. So yeah, I think that's the end of that. Oh no, we are back in, so we are going to see the conclusion if that is indeed what it is. But normally seeing action lag out when you're on Source TVs, or GoTV it is now, suggests that it's game over. A couple of players shrinking with the spray down. Eden picks up that third one with a bit of assistance on the ramp, and that was a very, very comfortable overtime. But yeah, Blackout maybe would have liked their map to be a little more comfortable than it was. GG to Vinzo, huge performance, 36 and 22. Kept his team well and truly in it. And yeah, made it interesting, let's say the least. It is a win for Blackout Gaming, 19 to 15. We are on to map 2, which is Cash, which is Appronto's choice. Deciding map, if we see it, is Nuke. This is Crossy for Blackout Gaming and Eclipse Gaming TV, watching the CSGO League Season 1 semi-final. The other match also going on tonight and being streamed, so maybe you'll be able to catch some of the conclusion of that. it's all in the Discord for CSGO League, so check it out. But hopefully you guys will all join me again for map number 2. Going to have a 5-minute break before we get into that action, and I will throw a few tunes on for you until that point.